Hey guys, a little bit different today. No basketball. We're going to do an NFL mock draft. This will be my 1.0. Done a lot of research, a lot of bold predictions, 3 rounds. It'll be a lot of fun. So let's get into it. This year is a very interesting draft. So many things can happen at every single pick, especially number one. And there's been discussions that it might not be a quarterback so, but I'm not buying it. I think Will Levis is not the answer for Tennessee. Cam Ward is the best quarterback in this draft class, and I think he might be a top 10 talent in this draft class regardless of position. And so I think that's just the obvious pick there, clear cut. Going to Cleveland at number 2. Cleveland has Deshaun Watson on the roster, and he costs a lot of money. And so you could easily argue, okay, yeah, the pick here should be Shadeur Sanders. And that's possible. I think Kevin Stefanski, my bad, might really like Sanders, but I think they go best player available here, which in my opinion is Abdul Carter. And there have been talks that Abdul Carter will go to the Giants. I know he wants to go there, but with the number 3 pick, the New York Giants, another team that has a lot of needs. They could also go Shadeur Sanders here. That's potential. I've heard that. I've seen that. I like that. And I thought a lot about it. They could also go offensive line. I'm a big Armand Mimbu guy. But ultimately, I think they got to go with Shadeur's teammate here, Travis Hunter. Corner's a big need for the Giants. Everything's a big need for the Giants, let's be honest. And I'm high on Hunter. And, ultimately it's not on what I would pick, but what I think they will pick. And signing Russell Wilson kind of did it for me. Jameis Winston's a fun signing, but as for the Patriots, I do think Armand Mimbu's the pick here. They need offensive tackle, and Armand Mimbu had a great combine. And, it could be Will Campbell, but I don't like those arm lengths, and I don't think they would either. So I think Armand Mimbu's the pick here. As for the Jags at 5, I could do something fun here, could do something interesting. I'm not. I'm going to be boring. They're going Mason Graham, I think. He's a big dude, good defensive tackle. He's hard-nosed. He played for Michigan, so he's proven he can play at a high level at a good program. They could go Jalen Walker. I love Jalen Walker, and I think it's possible they trade down with New York to get Jalen Walker. I don't know why New York would want to jump the Raiders unless they're potentially taking a quarterback, which is possible. As for the Raiders, Ashton Genty's the obvious pick as well. Pete Carroll's the new head coach. He loves his running backs except on the 1-yard line. It's super deep running back class. And, I don't see them going anywhere else. He's a great athlete, fast, explosive. He's good on his feet. He goes through holes nicely. He's a great running back and a great pick for the Raiders here at 6. As for the Jets at 7, is this a potential Shadeur Sanders landing spot? Maybe. But no, I'm going to go Tyler Warren. He reminds me a lot of Brock Bowers. Why wouldn't you want to take a Brock Bowers type if you're the Jets? I mean, Tyler Warren's a great player. The Jets need great players. They don't have a lot of them. Justin Fields is a scrambling quarterback. Scrambling quarterbacks love their tight ends. It just makes a lot of sense for me. Carolina at 8. I think the obvious pick here is Jalen Walker. I love Jalen Walker. He's a great defensive end. He might move up to linebacker in the league. He's a bit thin to play D end in the NFL, but super explosive, great athlete. I love him. I think he'd be great for the Panthers. There is debate that they could go T-Mac here, get Bryce Young a target, but ultimately I think T-Mac's going to slip in this draft, and Jalen Walker seems like a good pick here at 8. All right, New Orleans at number 9. Let's do something weird. This is where my first surprise comes in. They're taking a quarterback. That's not a surprise. We knew that. Derek Carr's hurt, potentially out for season next year. He wasn't the answer anyway. And, I've heard they might go Will Johnson, a corner, but they got to go quarterback. I mean, it's time. And look, Shadeur Sanders is right there on the board. This is their time, right? No. Let's get weird. Jaxson Dart, welcome to New Orleans. You're gonna hate me. Go ahead and type that comment. I don't care. They love Jaxson Dart. If you didn't know that, if you don't know anything about Jaxson Dart, he's been rising since the season. Great Senior Bowl, great pro day. And Kellen Moore, that's his name. He loves Jaxson Dart. It's going to happen, trust me. Will Campbell to the Bears at 10. They need an offensive tackle badly. I thought about a Marion Hampton here, but Will Campbell seems like the good answer. He's a smart guy. Short arms are a concern, but ultimately a lot of talent. The 49ers at 11. This is a tough one. Like, genuinely, the 49ers were so bad this year, and I had no idea why. Like, they had so much talent on that roster. Got hit with the injury bug, but still. They lost a lot, so now they just have a lot of needs. They could go Kelvin Banks. Trent Williams is old. That's potential. I also like the defensive ends in this class. Mike Green, probably my favorite. Just loved watching him bowl over Josh Simmons. But I'm going to go Will Johnson. Great cornerback out of Michigan. He's a ball hawk. He can play man-to-man. He can play zone. He's more of an outside corner. He's a great player. Cowboys at 12. I'm going to go Teteroa McMillan. T-Mac, I call him. They need a wide receiver 3, a wide receiver 2. T-Mac can come right in and play that for you. He was great at Arizona. I think he's going to slip in this draft, potentially even more than this. They could go a lot of different ways, the Cowboys could. But I'm going to go T-Mac here. I think that's probably what's going to happen. Okay, and the Dolphins at 13, you got one move. Protect Tua at all costs. And how better to do that than Kelvin Banks? Kelvin Banks is so talented, so good. He's my tackle number 2 in this class, ahead of Will Campbell. And, Tua's blindside is his right tackle. That's his blindside blocker, and Kelvin Banks has played a lot of right tackle in the last couple of years. I think it just makes a lot of sense. They need offensive line. He's the best offensive lineman on the board. Indianapolis Colts at number 14. Maybe a little bit of a reach here, but I have them going Colston Loveland. Loveland, great player from Michigan and a not really passing offense. He's a great blocker, but he still was a good vertical threat, even in that system. The Colts' second biggest need probably is tight end. First biggest is quarterback. Yes, I said it, I know. Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson are surely not Tom Brady. But Colston Loveland seems like a good fit here for the Colts at 14. Okay, so the Falcons at 15, I think I know where they're going here. They're definitely going edge rusher. So many guys you can go with. Like I said, it's such a deep class. They could also go Jahad Campbell. Love Jahad Campbell. But I think he's going to slip a little farther than this. So many edge rushers, like I said. I mean, even up to Donovan Ezrico out of Boston College. 5 guys they could go with here. Ultimately, I think the pick for them is Mike Green. I love Mike Green. I mean, Mike Green was so good for Marshall last year. I get it. It's Marshall. That's the biggest concern, right? He played for Marshall, but 18 and a half sacks, or maybe just 18. Had a great Pro Bowl, great combine. He's way too good to slip much farther. Going Kenneth Grant to the Cardinals at 16, another D lineman. You could go a lot of ways. You could have gone Derek Harmon. You could have gone Walter Nolan, 2 great defensive tackles as well. Kenneth Grant fits more Arizona to me, though. Big dude, versatile, played in Michigan. He's great run stopper. He'll get pressure on the quarterback, too. That's where I think the Cardinals go. The Bengals at 17, they need defense. And I think there's back-to-back defensive line picks here, defensive tackle specifically. Walter Nolan, Cincinnati Bengals. The concerns, the reason he's been falling into potentially the second round in a lot of mock drafts within the last month or two has been because of character concerns, but according to a lot of scouts, he did just fine in interviews. And I think the Cincinnati Bengals look past that. This guy is so talented, potentially a top 10 talent in the class. I mean, honestly, I don't know why he's not ranked up there. I love Walter Nolan. As for the Seahawks, I think Josh Simmons is the pick here. They need an offensive tackle. They could go a lot of ways. I mean, the Seahawks, they just gave up their future pretty much. I think DK Metcalf should have been a Seahawk for life. And just trading away for a second-round pick, like for a bag of popcorn, I don't know. At 19, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are picking, and I think there's a match made in heaven here. Jahad Campbell, lots of talent. I mean, there are a lot of good defensive players in this class. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers need a linebacker. Their best linebacker, Levante David, he's getting really old. And Jahad Campbell, he's a good fit for the Buccaneers. I just like that all around. Nothing bad to say about him. Nothing bad to say about this pick. As for the Broncos, another big surprise. Let's have them trade away the pick. I know they could go Marion Hampton here, but you know what? You know what Kevin Stefanski sees? He sees that the Pittsburgh Steelers are up next, and his guy Shadeur Sanders is still there. So he picks up the phone and calls the Broncos. He says, "Hey, I'll give you a second and a third and potentially a fourth round next year." And, the Broncos are like, heck yeah, I'll take a second and a third and a fourth round next year, Kevin Stefanski. And he takes Shadeur Sanders. Have Dual Carter and Shadeur Sanders in the same draft class. Are things looking up for the Browns? In all honesty, I think Shadeur Sanders is a really accurate quarterback. I don't know if he'll translate all that well. He's ready to play, but his upside is questionable. But good pick here for the Browns. As for Pittsburgh at number 21, they're going Jalen Milroe. I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, they're not going Jalen Milroe. Maybe in the second round if they trade up. They don't have a second round pick. But I think the two picks possible here are Derek Harmon and Jahdae Barron. Both very talented players. I think Jahdae Barron's the pick here. Just got Darius Slay, but is Darius Slay really the answer at corner for the Steelers? Like the full-time answer? No. He's kind of washed. He's getting really old. Jahdae Barron's a good player. And I like this pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers, number 21. As for the Chargers, let me put you onto something. Maybe they go Mason Taylor. Mason Taylor's been climbing a lot too. I'm not going to pick it. I think that might be a good second-round pick for them. But they could maybe reach. I've heard scouts say they might reach on a prospect in the first round, and Mason Taylor is going to be there, sitting there. They might go him. But I think they're going to go edge rusher. Lots of edge rushers here. They also might go corner. Oh, I like corner. Oh, yeah. Maxwell Harrison. Maxwell Harrison ran a 4.29 40. He's super talented. SEC guy. That always helps. Always gives you a boost in the draft process. I think he's a great corner. He's my cornerback 3 on my board. He's ahead of Jahdae Barron. But yeah, I'm high on Maxwell Harrison. He could be a really good player for the Chargers this upcoming season if they decide to go with that pick. Green Bay Packers, number 23. They haven't picked a wide receiver in the first round since 2002. And Matthew Golden is sitting right there. Matthew Golden's a good player. Mika Ogbuka, Luther Burden, both there. I think they go Matthew Golden. He's definitely the best wide receiver available in my opinion. And I think it's just time. It's time for the Packers to say, hey, we need a number 1 guy. And, give that nod to Matthew Golden. And, they got like 5 wide receiver 3s. Anyway, the Vikings, they either go corner or safety here. I think they go corner. I think they go Trey Amos out of Ole Miss. Trey Amos is a good player too. He ran a 4.42 40. As you can tell, I think a lot of corners are going to go in the first round, more than most people would think. Trey Amos ran a 4.42 40. PFF has him graded as like the second best man-to-man corner in this class. He's a good player. Anyway, number 25, the Houston Texans are picking. They have to go offensive line. At offensive tackle, you got Josh Connerly. I think that's a bit of a reach here. Gray Zabel's probably the guy they go with here. Best offensive lineman available. I don't know too much about him. I know that he's a very versatile player. I think he played tackle for North Dakota State, but he's a bit smaller. He needs to play guard and potentially center. I've heard stories that he played center at the Combine, and scouts were impressed. And that'd be big for Houston, who just traded away, their best offensive lineman in potentially franchise history with Laramie Tunsil. Going to the Rams at 26, the Rams, there's been a lot of talk that they might have taken a quarterback, but, all 3 of them are gone now. So I think they got to go defense. They could go corner. Siobhan Revel's still there. I think Siobhan Revel has the potential to go in the first round. I don't think Azealia Thomas does. But I think they're going to go edge rusher. I think Michael Williams is the pick here. Michael Williams has so much upside. And ultimately, I think he's just the best pick for the Rams here. BPA. Ravens picking at number 27. And the way this has unfolded for the Ravens, I love their position. And I think this is how it's going to go. Obviously, I think that because that's how I picked it. Nick Eman to the Ravens here. I know over Malachi Starks, a bit shocking. But the Ravens love to go with higher risk, higher reward, high athleticism players. Look at Lamar Jackson. It's super athletic coming out of Louisville, but he was kind of a project. Nobody expected him to go the first round. They traded back up and got him. I think it's going to be similar here. They go Nick Eman out of South Carolina. Great player. As for the Lions, you know how Dan Campbell is. He loves to build in the trenches, which is a lot of how a lot of good teams are good, stay good. I think they go James Pierce Jr. He seems like a really Dan Campbell type of player to me. So athletic. I could say that so many times. It wouldn't do it justice. This dude is a freak. He's great. Character concerns are the only problem, but that doesn't matter to me too much. Dan Campbell can fix those kind of things. Washington at number 29. Washington could go a lot of ways. I mean, they're so good. I don't get it. Jaden Daniels is a stud. They could go wide receiver. I like Luther Burden here, but ultimately I think they go Shamar Stewart. I'm not a big Shamar Stewart guy. He slipped in my mock draft for a reason. I don't understand why people are so high on him. He is a first-round lock. I just have him going later. He is explosive. He has a lot of potential. He's similar to Michael Williams, but I think he's going to fall to the Commanders here at 29. As for the Bills, I think they go Derek Carmen. I love Derek Carmen. Derek Carmen, he's so big, but yet he's so fast for his size. And he just seems like a Buffalo Bills type of player. He played up in Oregon, so he's used to playing in the cold. Seems like a good fit here. He could easily go earlier than this. I mean, there's a chance he goes in the top 16, but ultimately I think he goes 30 here to the Buffalo Bills. The Chiefs at 31. After that Super Bowl, I think there's only one way you can go here. You have to go offensive line. You could go wide receiver. I can see that, especially because they all keep getting arrested. But Tyler Booker's probably the pick here for them. I think they would have loved to get Gray Zabel here, because Tyler Booker has been slipping for good reason probably. I don't know how high I am on him. He's just another Alabama offensive lineman. You get these kind of guys all the time. And I can't name too many of them that have turned out all that great. And just for reputation purposes, probably not big on him. How better to end the first round than the Eagles taking another Georgia defensive player? If it's not broke, don't fix it, I guess, because Malachi Starks is going to be a Philadelphia Eagle if he's still there. Malachi Starks is a good player. He had a bit of a down year. Honestly, he wasn't great for Georgia this year. But he's not gonna slip out of the first round, I don't think, and that ends the first round. And welcome to the second round. The Broncos are dreaming, right? This is the perfect scenario if you're a Broncos fan. Marion Hampton is still there. I mean, the guy you were probably going to pick at pick 20. He slips to pick 33. You trade down. I think this is a match made in heaven. Completely besides the fact that this is another running back from North Carolina. Not trying to give you guys PTSD to Javonte Williams. The New York Giants at 34. I think this is where Jalen Milroe goes. They need to take a quarterback, and I think a developmental guy is probably perfect for them. And Jalen Milroe is definitely developmental. Not a great passer, which is bad for a quarterback, but he's super fast and super fun to watch. And I think that's probably where the Giants go with their second-round pick. As for Tennessee, you got to go get your new quarterback, a new wide receiver. And Luther Burden is electrifying. I mean, he's super athletic. A great player. Skill-wise, he's a first-round talent. But once again, another player with, character concerns. Jacksonville back up on the clock at number 36. I think the move here is probably secondary, and Siobhan Rivel's definitely the best secondary player left available. He could be a first-round pick. I don't know too much about him, but I do know that he's going to go high in this draft. I think he slips into the early second. No shame in that. They don't have any corners. They got Andre Sisco at safety, but otherwise, I don't know if I could name another one of their secondary players. As for the Raiders at number 37, they need offensive line to protect their new running back, right? That's usually what second-round picks are. Protect your first-round pick. Josh Connerly will do just that, out of Oregon. The only first-round offensive lineman talent left, and I think the Raiders snatch him up here at 37. As for the Patriots at 38, there's one choice here. Donovan Ezerico has slipped to you at 38. You need a defensive end, and he is perfect for the Patriots. Dream scenario for the Patriots here, too. Look, all the teams in the AFC getting dream scenarios. Great, all around. Although I know a lot of people don't want the Patriots to have any more dream scenarios, As for the Bears, I think they take their running back here, Trayvon Henderson. You want Ashton Genty, right? Well, he's not there. You don't want to reach on a Marion Hampton, so you hope he falls. He didn't fall. So you got to take the next best thing, and Trayvon Henderson is still there for the Bears, and that's their pick. New Orleans Saints here at 40. The Saints have so many needs. Genuinely so many needs. They could have gone a lot of ways, and then I shocked the world and took Jaxson Dart at number 9. They could go wide receiver, but I think they're probably going to go corner. They could also go defensive line or offensive tackle, however you say that name. But I think they're going to go with Ziri A. Thomas out of Florida State. Another guy who I think is early second round talent, not quite a first round talent, early second round talent. Could have gone as early as probably 34 to the Giants, but I had them taking Travis Hunter. So I think he slips here to 40 to the Saints. As for the Bears, why didn't you trade this pick away? Because there's so much talent here. Look, Nick Scordon, Tyleek Williams, Mason Taylor. I think they take Nick Scordon. Nick Scordon, in my opinion, is better than Shamar Stewart. I mean, just production-wise, he showed it. And he's also athletic. You don't go to Texas A&M as a defensive lineman if you're not athletic. And so I think Nick Scordon's a good pick for the Bears here. As for the Jets at 42, a lot of things you can do. Do you go quarterback? No, I think you go defensive line. Darius Alexander is better than Tyleek Williams, in my opinion. And I think maybe the Jets think that too. I don't know. I think that's a good pick. And, another small school player. He's big. He's fast. He can get to the quarterback. That's his thing. As for San Francisco at 43, they could trade this pick. I don't see them doing it. They have so many needs, and I think one of them is offensive tackle. Like I said, Trent Williams is getting old, and even though I can't pronounce that guy's name, I do know a little bit about him. I watched some film. He's a great pass protector, even though he did play for Minnesota, so who knows how credible that is. But, yeah, I think that's the pick there. As for Dallas at 44, they need their running back, and Quinshon Judkins feels like a Dallas Cowboy to me. Super explosive, great athlete. Transferred to Ohio State from Ole Miss. I think he's a great player. As for Indianapolis at 45, once again, another team that could trade here. Do they do the unthinkable? Do they potentially take a look at a quarterback? No, they take a look at the quarterbacks and they throw up because there's nobody left. I think they could go edge, but with the Colts, I think they're going to go linebacker. Carson, whatever his last name is, from UCLA. I have watched zero film on this guy. I will admit it. I know nothing about him, but I know that he's ranked pretty high, and he could go here. As for the Falcons, they're going to go Benjamin Morrison. Benjamin Morrison's a good corner. He's the only second-round talent left in that cornerback group, and Atlanta needs a corner, so it feels like a match made in heaven, right? As for Arizona, I think they go with Emeka Egbuka. Emeka Egbuka is so talented, super explosive, great athlete. He might not slip this far. He might slip this far. I think he goes to the Arizona Cardinals at 47. Miami back up, and, they took an offensive tackle in the first round. They might go off interior offensive line here, and Donovan Jackson is still on the board. I think they go his teammate, Tyleek Williams, defensive line. They need to build in the trenches, besides building into his brain, because he's got like 16 concussions. Anyways, never mind that. My bad. Some unnecessary slander. Cincinnati, same thing. Defense. You need defense. And Landon Jackson's a good player. I think he's perfect for Cincinnati's culture. As for Seattle at 50, they need more offensive line. But I think they also need wide receiver. And Jaden Higgins is really good. I like Jaden Higgins a lot, actually. And I think he's a perfect player for the Seahawks here at 50. As for Denver, let's go Mason Taylor. They need a tight end. And Mason Taylor is potentially my favorite tight end outside of Tyler Warren in this class. Mason Taylor has the potential to be really, really good. He's a great possession tight end. And guess who's back here at number 52? Seattle. Seattle's going to take Donovan Jackson. He's slipped a long way in my mock draft. He's a great offensive guard, and Seattle needs a great offensive guard, so that makes sense for them. As for Tampa Bay, I think they go Princely Uman-Mielen. Uman-Mielen has a great first step, as we saw in the Combine, and he'd be great on that Tampa Bay defensive line, which could use some more players. As for Green Bay, they need a corner. I think they're going to reach on Darian Porter here. Darian Porter's a good player, but he's not really a second-round player. However, Green Bay, Jair Alexander needs another guy back there. As for Los Angeles, they could go wide receiver, but I think they're going to go defensive line. Defensive line's a big need for the Chargers, and, Alfred Collins is sitting right there. He's a good player. JT Tuilamola, or however you say that name, he's good too. I watched him play, watched a lot of tape, read a lot of things on him, but I think he's going to stay there a little longer. But what's this? We've got a trade. Buffalo trading number 56 to the New Orleans Saints, who, they got a new quarterback. Why not go get their new quarterback, the wide receiver of the future? His guy, Trey Harris, sitting right there. They're going to trade both their third-round picks, get a fifth-round and the second-round pick in return. Trey Harris, well, why wait to get like a Jalen Royals guy in the third round when you can get Trey Harris right now, best wide receiver available, clearly, besides, Elik Ayanamoner from Stanford's really good too, but Trey Harris is the good pick here. As for the Panthers at 57, I considered taking a wide receiver in the first round. I didn't, but I think they're definitely taking one in the second round. Alec Ayonamanor from Stanford. He's a good player. He's got a lot of talent, and he was great for Stanford last year. I don't know how well that's going to translate to professional football, but it'll be fun to see, and I think he's a good player to take a risk on. As for Houston, more offensive line. Can't say his last name. I'm not even going to try. Guy from Arizona. Another talent interior offensive lineman. Besides Marcus Imbo, he's the only decent interior offensive lineman left in this class. As for Baltimore, more defense. Tuamoloa. I tried to say it earlier. I tried to say it then. I'm sorry. Who's naming these people? Anyways, he's good. Like I said, I watched film on him. I like his talent a lot. As for Detroit, where did they go here? I mean, T.J. Sanders is there. T.J. Sanders is a good player. No corners left taking here. Running back, why would they take a running back? I think they'd take Xavier Watts simply because he's the best player available. And that's the only defense I have for this. As for Washington, they need Caleb Johnson. I mean, they need a running back in general, but Caleb Johnson would be pretty nice here, right? Get your quarterback a new running back. How about it? So I think Caleb Johnson is the pick here for the Washington Commanders at 61. Let me just take a look down the board. Yeah, I think this has got to be the pick. As for Buffalo, Buffalo, I like Jack Sawyer. Jack Sawyer seems like a good pick here. It's either him or T.J. Sanders for me. Just a couple defensive linemen is what Buffalo needs in this draft. As for Kansas City, I think it's clear that they take a wide receiver here. I didn't have them taking a wide receiver in the first round. Same kind of thing. They're taking a wide receiver here in the second round. As for Philadelphia, I think, once again, Philadelphia is so good because they take the best player available in every pick. And T.J. Sanders is the best player available here at this pick. And finally, we reached the third round. I'm not going to give a whole lot of commentary for the third round. You made it this far in the video. I'm just going to be kind of flying through picks. Don't want to make the video too long. The Giants need edge help. I think Braden Swinson's easily the best defensive end available here. Kansas City, they got their offensive line. Do they potentially go one more? They might. I think they do. Wyatt Millam is a good player out of West Virginia, and I don't think this is too much of a reach for them. As for Cleveland, Cleveland, they got the defensive end. They got their quarterback. They might go wide receiver here. But no, I think they're going to go Birch out of, no, they'll go back out of TCU. That seems like the pick. Birch will go to the Raiders. New England, what's more New England than going with the Utah State wide receiver in the third round? And Jalen Royals, how about it? Jacksonville, This is probably BPA. I mean, I know not just because it says this on here, but I think Elijah Arroyo is the pick here. I like Elijah Arroyo. I think he could go higher than that. But Buffalo probably no corner. There's no, like I said, no good corners left. I'm a big Marcus Imbo guy. They might go Marcus Imbo, but I think I'm gonna go Isaiah Bond. Isaiah Bond, besides talking a big game, he can put up a big game too. Marcus Imbo is going to be my pick for the Bears here. They got a lot of interior offensive line over free agency, like through trades and stuff. But, it never hurts to get even more, especially if they're the Bears, So the Jets, this is where I think Tyler Shook's going to go. Tyler Shook is a good quarterback. It's just, he's going to be 26. That's as a rookie. That's crazy. But I think that's a good pick for the Jets there at number 73. Good value. As for Carolina, a lot of ways you could go here. I think I like Omar Norman a lot. He's a good player. I could have gone Shamar Turner there, but just not super high on these Texas A&M defensive linemen. San Francisco at 75. San Francisco at 75. I don't know much about him, but Stewart out of Michigan, just because I'm not going to pick the UCLA guy. I'm just going to be honest with y'all. Dallas, it just makes sense for them to go Tate Ratledge here. Zach Martin's contract either expired this year or it expires next year. He's running low on a contract no matter what. New England, I already took a wide receiver for them. New England, I like Cam Scatabo here. I think Cam Scatabo is one of the most underrated players in the class. So Cam Scatabo is a good pick here for the New England Patriots. Arizona, definitely going edge rusher, and this is where that UCLA kid's going to go. Houston at 70, did I say 79? Yeah, 79. I like Kyle Williams here. Kyle Williams is a sleeper. Kyle Williams has been jumping up draft boards. Like, he was like a 6th-round projection just a couple months ago. Now he could go day 2, which is where I have him going, Houston. As for Indianapolis could go a lot of ways. They could still go quarterback, but I think they're going to go best player available, which in my opinion is Andrew Mukbuka from Texas. Cincinnati could keep going defense. They might go defense again here. No, I think it's in their best interest that they go offensive tackle. Trapilo from Boston College is better than Cameron Williams, in my opinion. Got to keep Joe Burrow protected. That's your $400 million quarterback right there. Seahawks going to take Turner, just, best player available. Pittsburgh, I think they're going to go quarterback. And I don't think they're going to Will Howard. I think they're going to go Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers is better than Will Howard, in my opinion. And I also don't know why people hype up Will Howard, especially after that combine. Tampa Bay, this might be where a running back goes. I like Dylan Sampson a lot. Dylan Sampson could be the pick here for Tampa Bay. As for Denver, another team that picked a running back, speaking of which, they could use an edge rusher. They could also use defensive line, just in general. I think they're going to Demetrius Knight, though. Well, they haven't listed a linebacker here. He's more of an edge rusher, actually. He played at the edge rusher last year. Harold Fan of the Chargers. I thought about taking a tight end for them in the first round. Decided not to. Definitely a bit of a wait here, but they're going to get him in the 3rd round with a good player. Green Bay takes offensive line, just Georgia offensive line. I don't know much about him, but he must be good. Savion Williams, he's a fast receiver. Didn't run a great 40, I don't think, though. But he looks fast on the tape, probably faster than he looks. Kyle Kennard, edge out of South Carolina. Good pick for Houston here. I like him a lot, actually. The Los Angeles Rams at pick 90. This might be where our quarterback goes. But, yeah, Jacob Parrish probably should go here. Baltimore at 91. I'm going to go Farmer out of Florida State. It just seems like a good fit. He's a big dude. Seattle, I like Kevin Winston out of Penn State. That might be the first Penn State player. Oh, forgot Abdul Carter and Tyler Warren. But one of the first Penn State players drafted today. Linebackers, I like Chris Paul. He's a small player, but he's got a lot of tools. Could be really good. Might play more of a roaming strong safety in the league. As for Denver, again, Deion Walker, good player out of Kentucky, very explosive. Kansas City, I think edge rusher is probably where they go here. Ashton Gallotti, congratulations, you're going to be on like 15 Super Bowl teams in the next 10 years. I know. It doesn't make any sense. That's whatever. Cameron Williams is my pick here for Philadelphia. Philadelphia, you know how I like to do it. Best player available every single time, and that's why they keep continuously making the NFC Championship and, winning the Super Bowl this year. Bowman from Oklahoma is my Minnesota Vikings pick. As for Miami, I like Emory Jones here, but I think it's better for them to go corner. Dorian Strong out of Virginia Tech. The New York Giants already took their quarterback. I think Emory Jones goes here. San Francisco, they could go tight end, but I think defensive line makes sense to me. Ty Robinson's a good player out of Nebraska. The Rams take Will Howard here probably. I mean, I had him wait on it last time, but it just makes the most sense for me to go Will Howard here at 101. And with the last pick of the draft, I think Charles Grant out of William & Mary goes to the Lions.